I'm dedicating a few videos to the spooky season, and this is the next one out. Hashtag Halloween party decor. This is a VR at Tarot and Witchery. Oh, let's get into it. Hello! Welcome back to the space. We're smack bang in the middle of spooky season. Are you feeling the vibes? Are you feeling spooky? I really hope so. I am. Okay, we're doing a VR today to honour this season, which is my favourite season. Hashtag Halloween party decor. This is a VR at Tarot and Witchery. I believe this is from last year, can't remember, but I have trawled through the net, the internet and YouTube, and come upon a few tags that I wanted to be doing this season that I didn't do last year. So yes, I love me a good Halloween party. I love dressing up. It's so much fun, and dressing up parties really speaks to me of the Halloween season, because that's what I used to have, and that's what I used to do when I was a child. My mum used to arranged Halloween parties for me. One of my friends used to come around and we used to dress up as witches, and we used to do a whole bunch of witchy, witchy things. Well, play witchy games, basically. With no more of a chitter chatter, we are going to get into the prompts. I think we've got 10 prompts. I could be wrong. I'll put the number on the screen. We're going to get into the first prompt because that makes the most sense. Let's get into it. So, prompt number 1, the perfect host. Isn't that the most important thing for a good party? I think so. The deck that sets everything up perfectly in a reading. I chose, actually, the Lantern Oracle, which I stumbled upon when I was having a reshuffle back in September, maybe, with my tarot collection, an oracle collection. And I thought, yeah, this deck, I haven't used this in ages. So this was a deck that I wanted to, have out for this season. It's an excellent deck for, working through some tougher subjects. I edged mine in black, that's why I was showing you that, sorry. And the artwork is beautiful. There's age diversity in the deck, which I think is really, really good. The keywords are fantastic. You even got this, jumping off point here. So we've got the keyword, we'll say home, and then we've got like this further point to continue with the dialogue if you don't want to go to the guidebook. So it says, may your body beware a harmonious balance of love, strength and light and pleasure lives. Here we've got voice. You are here to be known, so speak and be seen. I love that. This is really beautiful. Personally, this really resonates for me. Inner integration. There is a peace, equilibrium and fulfillment in integrating the inner world with the taming and tempering effect life has on us. Isn't that? Oh, that's really beautiful. I'm going to show a couple more cards. I think the guidebook is really good for this one as well. And to be honest, I don't know why this has been resting so long on my tarot shelf. I think in some ways this deck does feel it can feel very intense, I think. And I think that's maybe why it's been put aside for a while. Although saying that, the Cave of Sybil has come into my collection, and that, some people might think that's quite intense and what's the word I'm looking for? I still can't think of that word, which I couldn't think in the last video I spoke about the Cave of Sybil Oracle. Confronting is the word I'm looking for. This deck can be a bit confronting to me, actually, to be honest. But saying that, I did work with it quite a long time ago. So yeah, I was obviously not in the right space to be confronted by the things that this deck brings up for me. But I do think it's an excellent deck to start off a reading, to pull a card and then to build a dialogue around and to build a spread around as well. So yeah, it's in my rotation this month, possibly November, and the forthcoming dark half of the year. Let's move on to prompt number 2. Prompt number 2, party decor. The deck that is all about the Halloween party aesthetic for you, and that's got to be this one. This is the Gothica Revealed Oracle deck. I've got to say there's quite a few oracles actually appearing in this tag, just FYI, just to let you know. These are edged in red out of the box. It's a mass market deck. Did I mention that? These are the backs, and this feels quite 90s to me. The artwork feels a bit 90s, and I do really like this, like it feels a little bit, I don't want to be offensive, but it feels a little bit cheesy, the artwork and the deck, but in a good way, in a fantastic way. So I really like it that there's this like ripped back page, detailing going on. I think it's really cool. I'm sorry, I really do. And this just speaks to me of the Halloween decor and Halloween parties generally, because you've got your candles. I mean, don't get me wrong, you wouldn't have a cave, possibly. Well, I mean, you might do. That might be your theme for the party, going into the cave. We've got a bit of a haunted house thing going on here. We've got some ravens, and we've got people, possibly costumes that people wear, dressing up as Dr. Frankenstein. Monsters. I love this one. Dorian Gray. Love. What else we got? We've got some gravesides. We've got a castle. I mean, it's just got all the themes for the spooky season and for, a party. Oh, I love this card. We're stuff on that one because I love that one. I'm going to say I really actually enjoy the guidebook as well with this one. Can I also say this is not a spooky deck for me? I use this the whole year round. I'm going to show you the guidebook here. It's really floppy, flippy, floppy, which I love. I like it when books feel like they've been used a lot and they're like really, easy to, open up and just look into. That's just me. Just a little bit of a tidbit about what Angel likes in decks. So we've got a black and white image here, and we've got, a bit of a, not a quote, but I'm going to call it a bit of a quote, a bit of a lead-in. Then we've got the message, the foresight, and coffin revealed. And that's the same for every card. There's quite a lot of information there. I really like that. I personally think this is a really great deck. As mentioned, it's a little bit cheesy, but that's the reason I like it. Let's stop on the coffin card. And let's move on to prompt number 3, which is comfort food. The deck that always leaves you satisfied or feeling good. So I chose the Dark Magic Oracle. This was a second-hand find. I think I found it on eBay, but don't quote me on that. These are the backs, and they're edged in silver. This is a mass market deck, and although the actual artwork isn't particularly, it doesn't speak to me of the season. This doesn't speak to me of autumn. I mean, I wouldn't go out on the beach. I mean, saying where I live in the world, I wouldn't go out onto a beach, I don't think, really, in autumn and do any kind of like workings. Although saying that, I probably would go out into the woods to do it. So, don't listen to me. But maybe that's just because I feel more, I associate more with the earth element than the water element. I don't know. Just, cut that, scrap that last bit that I just saw, look at these beautiful cards, and let me tell you, this is another deck that I use the whole year through, which is in my dark aesthetics, what's it called? Basket beside me. I love this deck, but, there is not a but. But, okay, there is a little bit of a but. I don't tend to go to the guidebook for this one. I think that the actual images are enough. I think they're really great images to, spark this intuitive, process. I really like the keywords and like the key titles or the key phrases on the cards as well. I personally, in my humble opinion, find the guidebook reads a little bit too young. It kind of makes me, this would have worked, the guidebook would have worked for me if I was like maybe still in school or in like college or like a higher education. So the guidebook doesn't really resonate for me personally, but that has not stopped me getting some amazing, amazing readings with this deck. I love this. First of all, I thought these were like thorns coming out of the back, which really like, I was like, boom, I loved it. And then when I realised it was ravens, I was like, or birds, I was like, oh, corvids. I was like, wow, oh my goodness me, even better. So yes, love this one. Really enjoy it. But as mentioned, it's not a spooky deck for me, really. It's an all year round deck, but it does give you that bit of a haunted, asylum kind of vibe, like escaping from a Victorian asylum. Is that just me? It might just be me. I don't know. I'm going to stop talking. I love this. This is absolutely amazing. And we're going to stop there because I really enjoy that too. So the Dark Magic Oracle, mass market by Fiona Horn. Fantastic. Love it, love it, love it. Moving on to prompt number 4, which is Bobbing for Apples. The deck that is a hit, but sometimes it can be a bit of a miss. Let's get into it. So I chose the Dark Light Oracle. This is also a mass market deck. Oh, whoopsie, upside down. I do feel that this was a second-hand find, like a pre-loved deck, I'm sure. No, wait, it was a new one. I'm lying to myself. I think I bought this one new. Oh, actually, I can't remember. You know, old age is setting in. What can I say? What can I say? I've edged these in black. The thing that's the hit and the miss with this deck for me personally is not the images and it's not the keywords and the titles. It's the guidebook can be a bit hit and miss. I've spoken about this one previously, and I initially decided to work with this deck in order. You know, a bit like I do with the Wisdom of Strange Things Oracle, I think it's called. But it kind of left me a bit, I was like, I'm going to be honest and say I was disappointed. I was disappointed, mainly because of the guidebook. I wanted more from the guidebook. May I show you an entry? And there's nothing wrong with the entries in the guidebook. It's just that it just didn't resonate for me. And so I was left kind of, you know, feeling a bit like, oh. But maybe that's because around the same time I had actually gotten in the Dark Magic Oracle, which I felt was really, really, you know, it really, it's a really great oracle. And maybe it was just a hard act to follow. I'm not really sure. So yeah, the guidebook is the hit and the miss for me. I think the images, look at this. I mean, this just speaks to my inner Mausoleum work, which is actually why I purchased this one in the first place. When I look through this deck now, I haven't paired it with the decks I'm about to mention, but this gives me a definite Tarot de la Nuit vibe. So I'm wondering if this deck would maybe pair nicely with that. I'm also wondering, now that I'm working with the Lantern Oracle, if this would also pair nicely with the Lantern Oracle. So it might well be that the problem I've had with this deck is that I kind of work with it, I think I worked with this with the Dark Angel Tarot, or maybe the Dark Fairy Tale Tarot. Maybe that was the problem as well. Maybe those decks didn't give this deck enough room to shine. Maybe that's the problem. So maybe I should test this with the Tarot de la Nuit. Maybe that would work. Oh, see, I love these kind of tags because, you know, you kind of look into your collection and, you know, you get some new ideas and some new pairing ideas in your mind. Love it. Look at this. Escaping My Own Image. Oh, blooming love that one. And it might be a hit and miss of some peeps as well, because obviously some of the images are horizontal and other are vertical. Wait, vice versa. You know what I mean, right? Moving on to the next prompt. Let's move on to the next prompt, which is prompt number 5, Werewolf Costume, the deck that brings transformation. Well, of course, I had to bring this one out. I call it the Lopatin Oracle, but I think I might be saying that incorrectly. These are the backs. I edged mine in blue. This is another mass market deck. I think this is a Lo Scarabeo. Yeah, it is. And there aren't so many cards, but that does not matter because these cards are very potent, in my humble opinion. I use this deck, or have used this deck, in combination with the Darkwood Tarot for my inner wolf and red bonnet facet. This deck blew me away, and this deck came into my collection before I bought in the Cave of Sybil Oracle, which doesn't have keywords. So this was quite a new thing to me. Up until this point, I do feel that I only had the soul cards without keywords, and so this was quite, you know, a new concept. I was like, without keywords, this is going to be very interesting, and it really opened up my intuition and allowed me to really think about what the image meant to me instead of like slap banging a keyword in front of my face, it kind of, that sometimes can put a bit of a stop on my intuition, because I look to the keyword instead of looking at what's going on in the image and what it brings up for me and what it pulls forward within me. I think this deck is amazing. I personally really like the guidebook, and I haven't used this deck in quite a while because I haven't been working with my inner wolf red bonnet facets. However, I'm wondering now if this might actually be really good to work with Persephone's energy. So I'm going to think about that. I'm going to stop on this one. There are quite a few cards in this that are a little bit risque, so I dare not show on the tube because, you know, it is a bit sensitive just at the moment. So I'm going to stop there. But I'm going to say that this is an excellent deck, which I think might be, you know, seeing the light of day again with my Persephone work. So, you know, watch this space. So let's move on to prop number 6, which is vamp costume or vampire costume. The deck that you can only do a few cards of, otherwise you feel drained. Well, let me start with this super duper bag that I purchased secondhand on eBay. Isn't this just fantastic? This has replaced the bag that I usually use for the deck I'm just about to show you, the Dark Mirror Oracle and the Magic of You Oracle. So those three are, lovingly snuggled in this bag now. Isn't this amazing? I love it. It's gorgeous. Okay, so which deck do I choose for this prompt? Well, I think, you will be quite familiar with this deck. It is the Seasons of the Witch Samhain mass market. This is my most, I reckon, is this my most used deck at the Samhain, at the Season of the Witches Oracle? I think it's definitely one of them. I would definitely say that this one, Mabon, in bulk, are my most used. I use this all year round. I have since I purchased it. When I first purchased this one, this became my shadow work deck, along with, actually it worked with the Lantern Oracle. Oh, the Lantern Oracle's getting a real look in today in this tag. And even the Dream Keeper's Tarot and the Magic of You Oracle. So I worked with those three for shadow work. Of course, in the beginning, I didn't really know what I was doing with the shadow work. I was kind of like, just fumbling around in the dark until I found my stride. But this deck was an excellent deck for that, I think. And for that reason, it's out the whole year round, because I still use it for, my inner mausoleum work. It still gets a look in now and again. I do find that this deck is enough just by pulling one card. I tend to use this as like a clarifier or a rounding off the reading, a final message, because I just find that it's enough. If I pull in 2 or 3 cards, it just muddles the reading for me and doesn't make any sense. So I personally feel that one card is, I'm going to show that one, we'll stop here, is enough for a reading. So yeah, it doesn't drain me, but it most definitely is enough with just the one card. Season of the Witch, Samhain Oracle. Let's move along. Prompt number 7, Ghostly Apparition. The deck that disappears and then shows up unexpectedly in your collection. And that is actually going to be this one, which is the Folklore Oracle. This gives me a real autumn vibe. Obviously, this totally gives me an autumn vibe. But the deck does as well, actually, to be quite honest. These are the backs I think are beautiful. I haven't edged mine yet. And this showed up in my collection, paired with the Solaro Occulto. Oh, I can't, I'll put the name on the screen. I can never pronounce the name of that deck. I'm so sorry. One fine day, I will try and learn the name of that deck. So this kind of shows up unexpectedly. I obviously purchased it because I felt really drawn to it, and then it didn't really do anything in my collection. I didn't really use it. I didn't feel drawn to it. Then I had an amazing experience with that deck that I can't say. And then since then, it's kind of gone off the radar again. But then when I did my whole reshuffle round, my deck reshuffle, it kind of like started waving at me again. And I was like, oh, I need to get this one out again. Now, this does give me a bit of a Halloween spooky vibe as well, because you've got, these like, these characters going on. I love this. It almost feels like, somebody, this could be like inspiration for Halloween costumes, Halloween party costumes. Or is that just me? Maybe that's just me. So yeah, and there's like a whole selection of different mythical, I'm going to say, or mythological, can I say that, characters that I don't recognise. So it's really interesting, looking to the guidebook for the mythology behind the choices. I'm going to stop there because that's a blooming fantastic card. So yes, that was the Folklore Oracle, which doesn't strike me as a spooky deck, but it's definitely an autumnal deck for me in any case. Okay, let's move on to prompt number 8. So prompt number 8 is a zombie costume. Your deck in tatters. I don't have any decks in tatters. I don't have any decks that are in such bad condition. I do have a couple of boxes that have been damaged. So I'm going to cheat. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm going to cheat. But, when I saw this box again, I was like, what on earth has been happening to this poor box? It's really been, it's showing some resilience, but it's definitely been through the wars on its travels. No, it actually hasn't actually been on my any travels. It's been on my tarot desk. So that's very bizarre. So that's the deck or the box I'm going to show, being in tatters. But I am actually cheating. I'm so sorry. We're going to move on very quickly to prop number 9 and hope that you didn't really notice that I've already shown this deck. Okay, prop number 9 is Witchy costume, your favourite witchy deck. Let's get into it. Non-spooky deck alert. I'm sorry, but I have to bring this one in for this prompt because it's, you know, I want to be authentic and it's truthful, but it's not a particularly spooky deck. My favourite witchy deck is the Cozy Witch Tarot deck, which is perfect, is it not, for this autumn season that we found ourselves in. It's, you know, all about the cozy vibe, you know, the jumpers, the warm tea, the sitting in a comfy sofa and reading a really good book, and, you know, watching the leaves fall outside the window. Is it not, or is it just me? Okay, maybe it's just me. But this deck for that vibe, it just really, it totally resonates for me. And I'm going to say, actually, I don't just use this for the cozy vibes or for the cozy season, for the autumn season. This deck sits out on my I'm going to call it my creative space, my creative space, the whole year through. And I pull from it whenever I'm feeling a bit, you know, a bit not under the weather, but just uninspired, or like a bit, you know, a bit down the dumps. It's, you know, it's got these great, what I would call affirmations on the cards, which, you know, really pick me up and make me feel good. So some of the cards you might see, you know, you might think are a bit, you know, they're a bit spooky. But obviously, you know, we're on this witchy theme. So, you know, maybe that's, you know, goes hand in hand. I love this Temperance card. Let go of self-imposed limitations. This card sat on my altar when I was in the Temperance card year. Last year, must have been now. Sat the whole year. I love this depiction. I always have trouble remembering the meaning of temperance. It never sticks for me, which is really strange because it's my birth card. But it just, yeah. But this totally stuck for me and totally resonated for me, which has continued to do this year with the Devil card. You know, breaking these self-imposed limitations that I put on myself. So yes, that was the Cozy Witch Tarot deck. That was my favourite witchy deck. Let's move on to prompt number 10, which is Blood and Guts. The deck that cuts you to the core at your own peril. So I chose the Dark Mirror Oracle, which shares the bag with the, it shares this beautiful bag now because, you know, I think it's stunning. And I'm going to be completely transparent and tell you that I haven't used this deck in quite a while. I, again, paired this deck with the same combination as the Season of the Witch Samhain Oracle, even the Dream Keeper's Tarot, and the Magic of You Oracle. I used this a lot in the beginning for my shadow work practice. You know, when I was like kind of, you know, fumbling around in the dark, not really knowing what I was doing. And this deck was like the first deck that I got in that was, had this kind of darker aesthetic and was a little, this deck I found actually confronting. I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready for this. And yeah, I found this one really hard hitting. However, I haven't used this in a long while, so it might well be that I'm now in the space to, you know, to work with this deck and for it to really, you know, share its messages with me. So it needs to come back out. It's in that basket across the way there with all my dark aesthetic decks. But of course, as you can see from the tag, I do have quite a few darker oracles, which, you know, have been more prominent in my practice. But look at this. This is beautiful. Now I'm suddenly wondering if this would also be really good for the work with Persephone. Ooh, I love this. I'm going to show that one. And then I think I'm going to stop with this one, which is absolutely sublime. I love that. Hiding Your True Self. Yeah, so the guidebook is obviously in, you know, just multi-languages. It's multilingual. No, wait, what? Wait, what? What are you talking about, Angel? So I, you know, put an elastic band here so that I know which pages are relevant to me, and I'm gonna give you a bit of a glimpse into the guidebook as well. It gives you a bit of a moon phase, visual seed, sentence, and going dark. So yeah, take a read if you'd like to. I just think when I got this deck into my collection, I wasn't ready for it. And so I really need to revisit it. This is the reason I love these kind of tags, because it just, it brings out decks that, as mentioned, haven't seen light of day for a wee while, and you get to look at them with different eyes in a different place in your practice. That's the reason I love these tags. I love them. Okay, that was prompt number 10. Prompt number 11, couples in costume. The perfect pairing for this season. Oh, this is a good one. This was a no-brainer for the season. We've got the Halloween Oracle and Tarot della Nuit, both mass market decks. This was a second-hand deck that I found on a buy-sell trade group. Most impressed to get my hands on this one. And these two feel to me, well, they feel very typical, very like, no-brainer for the season. This one feels like a Halloween party, a costume party that everyone, is all dressed up in. And this one is, it's obviously got to be for the season. I mean, look at the backs. It just speaks of Halloween and spookiness. So we've got the witch with the earthly weaver of the worlds with the Two of Wands. I love this. This reminds me of the Wizard of Oz. I think it's the green face. I love it. Joy, rejoicing in the present with the Eight of Pentacles. I wonder if this deck would also actually pair nicely with the Dreamkeeper's Tarot. I don't know why I think that, but I just get this nudge. It's like, I get this nudge of, oh, you should try that. So we've got the Veil, which is the future. I love this, with the King of Pentacles. I'm going to take a couple more. Look at this. Night Song, Hidden Talents with the Three of Swords. Isn't that, oh, that's really, nom nom nom. That's a beautiful image. We're going to take one more after this. Forgiveness with Reducing Burdens and the Ace of Cups. I love this, with this flower blooming in the palm. Last one. Oh, I like this a lot. Balm Brack, is that called? I think so. Sweetness and Synergy with the Five of Wands. This is beautiful. I love this vibe, this like Victorian London vibe. I'm assuming that's London, and yeah, I don't know. I could be totally wrong. It could be somewhere else in the world. But yeah, this pairing is gorgeous. Gorgeous. I'm going to say this one only comes out. This is definitely a Halloween deck. And I'm going to say this is also a Halloween deck, to be quite honest. I don't tend to put it out any other time of the year. So it's obviously in my selection of decks to be used for the month of October. Let's move along. So prompt number 12, I tweaked a little bit. The final prompt is no costume. There's always somebody that dresses up, there's always somebody that turns up at the party that refuses to dress up, which I think is more relevant when, when I've been an adult than when I've been a child. All my childhood friends wanted to dress up, no questions asked. And the deck I thought of for this, because, I expected or wanted more from the deck and from that person that refuses to dress up. I expected and wanted more of them to, put some effort into finding a costume. And I expected a little bit more and wanted a bit more from this deck, which is the Witches Through History, Grimoire and Oracle deck. Now, the main event of this box set is the book, which is absolutely stunning. There's only 25 cards. So I love the cards that came with the box. I'm going to show you the book first because, maybe I should. It's a stunning book, and the artwork is absolutely gorgeous. It speaks to me of the season. It's got all this juicy, spooky, witchy, deliciousness in. And actually, I'm going to, again, this disclaimer here that I use this the whole year through. I don't wait for the spooky season. But, some might think this is a spooky deck. Anyway, so there's only 25 cards, and I love the cards that are in here. These are the backs. I've edged mine in red. Orange. Or like an orangey red. And I love the cards that are in it, but I just wish there were more. I want more. I needed more. And I think, don't get me wrong, I do get really great readings with this deck as is, and I have paired it with the Dark Fairy Tale Tarot. What's the other deck I've paired this one with? I want to say like the Dark Wood Tarot I've paired this one with. I love this. No, my mind's gone a blank. It is. I also paired it with the Dark Wood. There's another deck as well that I've paired it with. I can't think of what it was. I can't remember. No, it's gone a blank. It's my mind is a blank. So there's like a whole selection of different things. You've got like You've got some deity in here, you've got some plants, you've got some animals, you've got some witches, obviously. It's just delicious, and I love the dark backgrounds. This, you know, this feeling of night. Oh, it's just so gorgeous. I'm going to stop there because that's just chef's kiss. We're done. We are at the end of this tag. I loved it. Love me. Give me all the spooky tags. Give me all the spooky decks and all the spooky hashtags because I'm a total fan. I'm going to thank you so much for spending some time with me. Which deck would you have used for prompt number 5? Let me flick back to prompt number 5, which was Werewolf costume, the deck that brings transformation. Let me know in the comment section. I would love to know because I'm a nosy Mowgli. Thanks for spending some time with me. Have a very spooky, lovely day and spooky season. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Toodaloo. Ah, hello.